Hey everyone, I'm here with the ARCCAPTAIN MIG 200 today, doing a quick review of this multi-process welder. It is a 110 or 220 volt unit, and it can do MIG welding, stick welding, and lift TIG functionality. It comes with a roughly 10-foot MIG lead. It appears to be a clone of a Benzel AK-15 gun. Uses same nozzle style and Tweco tips of the Harbor Freight gun, so consumables should be readily available. And it's got the full Euro connection, so if you ever do want to change it out to a different gun, it'll be very easy to find a compatible one from your local weld shop or online. The working clamp provided is also about 10 feet in length, decent quality, good copper tip, contacts on the tip. It does appear to be copper clad wiring instead of pure copper, so that's a bit of a negative on it, but overall should work just fine. For connecting to power, it's wired for standard US 110 input, and it comes with a 110 to 220 adapter plug. This is a bit of a negative from my perspective, because you're passing 220 voltage and high current through a normal 110 outlet that's only rated for 120 volts and 15 amps maximum. I'm not actually sure if this is even per US legal electrical code or not, but it'll actually cause a fire or anything in your house, so take that for what it is, I guess. The stick welding stinger it comes with is very nice, heavy duty, appears to be all cast. One of the nicest stingers I've seen on one of these multi-process units. It also comes with a whole slew of accessories, a few extra contact tips, a nozzle, and a ton of drive rolls. They provide you 3 different V-groove ones for solid wire, 2 different U-grooves for aluminum wire, and 2 different knurled grooves for running flux core wire through the unit. The one oddity is that there are none of these rolls are sized for .035 wire or 0.9 millimeters. ARCCAPTAIN, I did reach out to them about this, and they said that's a packaging error on these early production units, and they plan to remedy that in the future. The other oddity of the build quality is that inside our panel here, there's no MIG setup chart like you'll find on basically every other MIG welder on the market. They have posted this chart on their website in a blog post recently, and I emailed them, and they sent me a high resolution copy that I was able to print out, and I plan just to tape this in here once I'm done to have quick reference for it. And it is all in metric units for wire feed speeds and things like that, and wire sizes. So I've added some conversion tables up here and quick reference for myself for thicknesses of different materials. So when we get this thing turned on, one really nice feature that you'll notice is that the fan will initially kick on. And it'll shut off here in just a second. So it is a on-demand fan, which is quite nice, so you don't have to listen to it churning away endlessly when you're not in the middle of welding. On the front of the unit here, we also have an input port for a spool gun attachment for running aluminum wire. I don't have a spool gun, but they've got ones available if you want to do that. So going through our control panel here, the middle button here is our mode selection. So we have regular MIG, MMA for stick welding, lift TIG, and they don't include a TIG torch for that, so you'd have to buy one that has the manual gas control valve, MIG spool mode, and then back to MIG. When you're in MIG mode, which is what we'll be testing with today. You can have it in full manual mode where you can control your voltage and speed, wire feed speeds manually. Wire feed speed is meters per minute, sorry about that. Or hitting the SYN button will put it into synergistic mode where you can select your wire diameter, and once again this is in millimeters, so 0.6 for 0.023, 0.8 for 0.03, 0.9 for 0.035, or 1 millimeter for 0.04 inch wire. So you'd select your wire size and your gas type, and it will figure out the rest of the parameters for you. And then lastly, we have our trigger method on the MIG gun. It has 2T, 4T, and a spot weld function, which is really nice for if you're doing stitch welding on a auto body sheet metal work for consistent, repeatable welds. It'll just keep that arc going for a preset amount of time. Alright, so I'm going to move this over to get it plugged into 220, and we'll do some test beads with it. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with how well this MIG 200 unit from ARCCAPTAIN welds. Does nice clean beads, definitely limited by my abilities, not the machine's. And this was on 1/8 inch 836 coupons that I had laying around. The synergistic mode seems to be pretty close. You can fine tune it on the voltage knob, plus or minus 3 volts once it's set to the proper metal thickness for you. And varying it to the extremes there, you can definitely see too hot versus too cold. So they're pretty close. A little bit of tweaking was needed, but overall it welded really well, and I'm very pleased with the performance. I think at this price point of sub $500 for a multi-process welder, this is right up there with the lines of the Titanium 200 from Harbor Freight and other similar offerings. Definitely worth checking out for anyone who's looking to pick up a welder.
are straight, but still.
Hey guys, I just want to leave a review on this. It's an ARCCAPTAIN MIG 200. I've had it for a couple years now. It's over 2 years old now, but it's been a pretty good welder. I mean, I use it a couple times a month consistently, not every day in an automotive, environment, but it does pretty good. This is a flux core nozzle on it right now. I do have a bottle on the gas whenever I do need to run solid core. This blue demon goes through it like butter. I like this wire through it. It's very good. Arc welding, it does very good. I keep with E6013. You don't have any trouble. Everything with the nozzle, it's a pretty heavy duty nozzle. Feels pretty good in the hand. Same with the arc nozzle. There's a little bit of the arc clamp. There's a little bit of weight to it. don't know if I could get this down with one hand, show you the insides, but overall it's done pretty good. I probably ran maybe 20 spools of wire through it, and probably about 10 bottles of gas through it. Got on a Harbor Freight cart, works pretty good. I just figured I'd come back and give you like a long-term review on the thing. I love it. It gives you its own like preset to get you going. And if you follow the chart to get to where the preset is, then you can make fine adjustments. And I found you could zero in pretty good on whatever style you're doing or whatever you are welding, thin or thick. All right, guys, just figured I'd put that out there. It's been a good product. They do have a TIG attachment for it, but I think I'd rather have a dedicated TIG rather than that. Just keep this the MIG cart. Have a different TIG cart.
Here it is right now running. The only things that I can say about it that I'm really not happy with is the length of the actual torch and then the quality of the clamp for the ground. The wheel for the feed, running some cheap Harbor Freight stuff through it, but the wheel assembly is kind of flimsy. I'm not really impressed with that either. But if you're just somebody that's at home that wants to actually weld, I suggest that at the price you can't beat it. You know, a lot of the thought about why it's so cheap compared to other stuff is that you're not putting the same coil of wire as you were into an older type DC machine. The inverter in this stuff makes it super cheap and makes it super easy to use. The duty cycle on it, I just ran it for about 3 minutes and didn't overheat it. And I think that's pretty impressive. It's definitely not going to compete with the real welder that runs gas, but this flux stuff is pretty good. And I ran it on 220. So I'm impressed. If you're just somebody sitting at home and you want a welder, I definitely put my money in this. And the helmet, I'm going to tell you now, that thing is outstanding.
Bought my ARCCAPTAIN inverter welder 4-in-1 MIG 165. I set it all up, put the spool of wire in there. That was pretty easy. I've never welded a day in my life. Pretty good. Handle, sturdy. It's got a hook to hang it on instead of sitting on the table and arcing out. Already got the wire in there. Comes out nicely. I don't know anything about welding, but I'm about to learn. And I'll do another review once I do some welding. My friend's gonna teach me, so.
All right, this is after the unboxing of my MIG 200. You know, everything came in standard looking. It's pretty good. My MIG gun, good to go. The issue I had was on my Stinger. It arrived, but it came in pieces, and it was already damaged. You can look in there. So I guess it's just the plastic tore off of it. But everything else seems to be okay. I'm going to go and get some wire. Then I'll do an actual review on it.
Okay.